Hey, Jake with B&H. Today we're taking a look at two highly anticipated lenses for the Nikkor Z lineup. The Nikkor Z MC 105 f2.8 VRS and the Nikkor Z MC 50mm f2.8. These are the first dedicated micro lenses in the Z lineup for macro photography, and they feature 1:1 magnification ratios. Since the introduction of the Z mount in 2018, the lens line continues to grow, now with over 20 lenses, and with the addition of macro lenses, the Z lineup has become even more versatile. Up to now, if you wanted to take macro shots on a Z camera, you had to use the FTZ adapter and capture images with F-mount lenses. With the addition of native macro lenses to the Z system, you're getting reduced weight and enhanced optics. We're going to take the lenses for a spin and see what they're all about. The 105 lens is part of the S line, which means you're getting top quality optics, lens coatings, and technology built in. Right off the bat, you can tell that this is a high-end lens for demanding macro work. It was designed with professionals in mind and has a host of new features that set it apart from its F-mount counterpart. The lens features a dual-motor multi-focus STM system for fast and responsive autofocus. The synchronous movement of the motors allows for the suppression of axial chromatic aberrations. Since it's a VR lens, you also get up to 4.5 stops of vibration reduction. When paired with a Z camera that has built-in VR, such as the Z7 II that we're using today, you get 5-axis stabilization, which is very noticeable for horizontal and vertical movements as the reproduction ratio increases. When paired with a camera that doesn't have VR built in, such as the Z50, you get 2-axis stabilization. We're photographing objects today with tiny details, so we're getting in as close as we can. The minimum focusing distance of the 105 lens is 0.29 meters, or roughly 11.4 inches. The lens has a fixed aperture of f2.8, but when you're focused down to its closest distance of 11.4 inches, that f2.8 becomes an f4.5. So keep that in mind when you're getting in as close as possible to your subject. On the body of the lens is a digital display that gives you readouts for aperture, distance, and depth of field. There is an LFN button for customization and a 0.29 meter to 0.5 meter limiter switch. In addition to the manual focus ring, the lens also features a customizable control ring that can be used to change aperture, exposure compensation, and ISO. The lens features multiple coatings as well. A fluorine coating reduces dirt, water, and smudges from sticking to the surface of the lens. The nanocrystal and arneo coats help prevent flaring, ghosting, and reflections from diagonal and vertical directions. The lens is also weather sealed against the elements. Thanks to the f2.8 aperture and optimum focal length, the 105mm also pulls double duty as a portrait lens. The compression is flattering and the bokeh is quite beautiful. The lens weighs in at 625 grams compared to the F-mount version of 720 grams. It's nice having a dedicated native mount lens that provides clean optics at a lighter weight. The front of the lens features a 62mm filter thread for attachments. Moving on to the 50mm lens, you'll get a wider field of view, so you'll get to play a little bit more with your frame when setting up your shot. A lens like this is fantastic for food photography because you can capture scenes and also fine detail shots. The minimum focusing distance is 0.16 meters, or roughly 6.3 inches from your subject. This is one of the closest focusing distances of any Nikkor macro lens. We paired the 50mm with the Z50 mirrorless camera since it's a great entry point lens for anyone looking to get into macro work. It's incredibly lightweight at just 250 grams or 0.55 pounds and is the most compact 50mm lens in the Z lineup. So the new 50mm is great for a DX camera like the Z50, but it's also really great for a full frame mirrorless camera body like the Z5. So we've switched over to the Z5 now, and we're going to take some macro shots of these wine corks. The lens has a manual focus ring and a distance scale printed on the barrel of the lens to make it easier to measure your focal distance to your subject. The lens is even compatible with the Nikon ES2 film digitizing adapter set. This adapter attaches to the front of the lens and allows you to convert film images to digital using a high pixel count camera. This is another first for a lens in the Z lineup. So there you have it, 2 new lenses for the rapidly expanding Nikkor Z lineup. We had a lot of fun photographing a world of tiny details today. What do you plan on photographing with the first macro lenses in the Z lineup? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Jake with B&H, just keep rolling.